Hi everyone, let us discuss something about plagiarism in research. The topics we deal today are the concept of plagiarism and its types, the ways to avoid plagiarism, and checking for plagiarism, and the name of some of the plagiarism checking tools. First, let us look into the concept of plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own with or without their consent by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. All published and unpublished material, whether in manuscript, printed, or electronic form, is covered under this definition. Plagiarism may be intentional or reckless or unintentional. The plagiarism meaning comes from the Latin word plagiarius, which means to kidnap. As the plagiarism definition suggests, when someone uses the work of another artist without properly citing the source or giving credit, then that will be an instance of plagiarism. Plagiarism is a punishable offense and it is a form of intellectual theft. It is effortless to plagiarize any content or article from the website, but at the same time, it have grave consequences. Plagiarism can affect someone else's career adversely. The student often uses parts of an article in his project without crediting the source, therefore committing plagiarism. The teachers must warn the students about plagiarism as well as the meaning of plagiarism to ensure that this offense does not occur. If the student is changing the word order or summarizing the work or using exact lines from a text without using quotation marks or citing the source, that is not crediting the source correctly, then it will be considered plagiarism. However, reusing a previous work or parts of it without the knowledge of the professor also comes under plagiarism. It is called self-plagiarism, and if the teacher finds an instance of self-plagiarism, the student may end up with a poor grade. Plagiarism is applicable for writing or website article, but it is also applicable in stealing intellectual property like music, images, videos, and even choreography of a dance. Plagiarism can fail a piece of work trying to serve its primary purpose, while artwork or writing is considered successful if it reaches the audience. Plagiarism takes away the work's credibility and the artist or writer's message fails to reach the audience. Therefore, the students or artists must not plagiarize neither deliberately nor accidentally. Now let us list out some of the possible reasons for plagiarism. Increased pressure to publish, ease of copying and pasting online work, difficulties in writing in English or another language, misplaced respect for others' work, lack of suitable training, lack of awareness of the rules for acknowledgement of others' work. Let us categorize a few types of plagiarism. Plagiarism comes in many forms, some more severe than others, from rephrasing someone's ideas without acknowledgement to stealing a whole essay. These are the five most common types of plagiarism: global plagiarism, verbatim plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, patchwork plagiarism, and self-plagiarism. We shall discuss each one of the above. The first one is global plagiarism, which means plagiarizing an entire text. Global plagiarism means taking an entire text from someone else and passing it off as your own. For example, if you get someone else to write an essay or assignment for you, or if you find a text online and submit it as your own work, you are committing global plagiarism because it involves deliberately and directly lying about the authorship of a work. This is the most serious type of plagiarism and it can have severe consequences. Avoiding this kind of plagiarism is straightforward. Just write your own essays. The second type is verbatim plagiarism, copying words directly. Verbatim plagiarism, also called direct plagiarism, means copying and pasting someone else's words into your own work without attribution. This could be text that is completely identical to the original or slightly altered. If the structure and the majority of the words are the same as in the original, this counts as verbatim plagiarism, even if you delete or change a couple of words. In academic writing, you can and should refer to the words of others. To avoid verbatim plagiarism, you just need to quote the original source by putting the copied text in quotation marks and including an in-text citation. Most plagiarism checkers can easily detect verbatim plagiarism. The third type is paraphrasing plagiarism, that is rephrasing ideas. Paraphrasing means putting a piece of text into your own words. Paraphrasing without citation is the most common type of plagiarism. Paraphrasing, like quoting, is a legitimate way to incorporate the ideas of others into your writing. It only becomes plagiarism when you rewrite a source's point as if they were your own. To avoid plagiarism when paraphrasing, cite your sources just as you would when quoting. If you translate a piece of text from another language without citation, this is also a type of paraphrasing plagiarism. Translated text should always be cited. You are still using someone else's ideas even if they are in a different language. The fourth type is patchwork plagiarism, stitching together sources. Patchwork plagiarism, also called mosaic plagiarism, means copying phrases, passages, and ideas from different sources and putting them together to create a new task. This can involve slightly rephrasing passages while keeping many of the same words and the same basic structure as the original and inserting your own words here and there to stitch the plagiarized text together. Now, make sure to cite your sources whenever you quote or paraphrase to avoid plagiarism. This type of plagiarism requires more effort and is more dangerous than just copying and pasting from one source, but plagiarism checkers can still easily detect it. The fifth type is self-plagiarism, plagiarizing your own work. Self-plagiarism means reusing work that you have previously submitted or published. It amounts to academic dishonesty to present a paper or a piece of data as brand new when you have already gotten credit for the work. The most serious form of self-plagiarism is to turn in a paper you already submitted for a grade to another class. Unless you have explicit permission to do so, this is always considered self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism can also occur when you reuse ideas, phrases, or data from your previous assignments. Reworking old ideas and passages is not plagiarism as long as you have permission to do so and you cite your previous work to make their origins clear. Except for global plagiarism, the other type of plagiarisms are often accidental, resulting from failure to understand how to properly quote, paraphrase, and cite your sources. If you are concerned about accidental plagiarism, a plagiarism checker can help. Now let us find out the ways to avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism can become an issue at various stages of the writing process. You can avoid plagiarism by keeping track of the sources you consult in your research, paraphrasing or quoting from your sources and adding your own ideas, crediting the original author in an in-text citation and in your reference list, using a plagiarism checker before you submit. Even accidental plagiarism can have serious consequences, so take care with how you integrate sources into your writing. We shall go deeply into each of the above points. How will you keep track of your sources? One of the most common ways that students commit plagiarism is by simply forgetting where an idea came from and unintentionally presenting it as their own. You can easily avoid this pitfall by keeping your notes organized and compiling a list of citations as you go. Clearly label which thoughts are yours and which aren't in your notes. Highlight statements that need citations and carefully mark any text copied directly from a source with quotation marks. How will you avoid plagiarism when quoting? Quoting means copying a piece of text word for word. The copied text must be introduced in your own words enclosed in quotation marks and correctly attributed to the original author. In general, quote sparingly. Quotes are appropriate when you are using an exact definition introduced by the original author. It is impossible for you to rephrase the original text without losing its meaning. You are analyzing the use of language in the original text. You want to maintain the authority and style of the author's words. How will you avoid plagiarism when paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means using your own words to explain something from a source. Paraphrasing does not mean just switching out a few words from a copy-pasted text. To paraphrase properly, you should rewrite the author's point in your own words to show that you have fully understood it. How will you cite your sources correctly? Every time you quote or paraphrase, you must include an in-text or footnote citation clearly identifying the original author. Each citation must correspond to a full reference in the reference list or bibliography at the end of your paper. This acknowledges the source of your information, avoiding plagiarism, and it helps your readers locate the source for themselves if they would like to learn more. There are many different types of citation styles, each with its own rules. A few common styles are APA, MLA, and Chicago. Your instructor may assign a particular style for you to use, or you may be able to choose. The most important thing is to apply one style consistently throughout the text. How will you use a plagiarism checker to avoid plagiarism? Most universities use plagiarism checkers to detect potential plagiarism. Plagiarism checkers work by scanning your document, comparing it to a database of web pages and publications, and highlighting passages that appear similar to other text. Consider using a plagiarism checker yourself before submitting your paper. This allows you to identify issues that could constitute accidental plagiarism, such as forgotten or misplaced citations, missing quotation marks, paraphrased material that is too similar to the original text. Then you can easily fix any instances of potential plagiarism. We can now discuss in detail about the checking for plagiarism. Plagiarism can be checked using online plagiarism checkers. The online plagiarism checkers compares your text to over 16 billion web pages and academic papers stored in database. When part of your text matches something written online or in a database, you will get a plagiarism alert. When you use online plagiarism check to detect plagiarism, you will see an instant report that tells you whether or not plagiarism was found and how many grammar and writing issues are present in your document. The plagiarism checker flags specific sentences and provides reference information about the source, calculates an overall originality score for your document, and offers advanced writing feedback and corrections across several dimensions. You can be sure your writing will stay private. Plagiarism checker will not make your writing searchable publicly or in any other database, and no other plagiarism checkers will see your text. Let us list out some of the plagiarism checking tools. At a basic level, plagiarism checker software scan through a body of text to see if there are instances of plagiarism within the written content. Free and paid plagiarism checkers alert the writer to whether or not their text has duplicate content, plagiarized text within a body of text. Most tools cross-reference public websites and web pages to help identify instances of plagiarism. More advanced paid plagiarism checkers offer other features like alerting the writer to whether or not a section of their writing requires a citation, providing citation formatting guidelines or tools, and giving a document a score based on how original the content is. Certain advanced tools offer plagiarism checking in multiple languages and use AI technology to help identify identical and paraphrased content. Some vendors offer plagiarism checking software as part of a larger suite of writing and proofreading tools. For example, Grammarly provides users with a plagiarism checker along with grammar, spelling, syntax, writing style, and text sentiment features. Best plagiarism checker software include QText, Copyscape, DupliChecker, Plagiarism Detector, CopyLeaks, FlagScan, Original, Turnitin, No Flag, and UniCheck. Thank you.